You cool with putting your kids to work? It could be happening here in the state of Florida. They say teenagers as young as 14 could soon be allowed to work overnight shifts to combat the need for migrant labor that has decreased due to immigration crackdowns.
Overnight shifts? Don't they have to sleep for school the next day?
Yeah, I think there's some stuff in there that you might have to balance out a bit. Yeah. Or maybe it's just night shifts. I don't know. Yeah, I guess maybe they'd be able to work fast food or whatever they might do. I guess it's really about anything, honestly, that you could do. For me personally, I don't really have a problem with it. I think it's great for kids to work. When I was a teenager, I had a job. I was doing stuff.
I did too. I was an umpire.
Yeah. I thought it was nice because that way you're out there working, you're making your own money, you appreciate it.
But the night shift?
Yeah, I guess that's the question. It's just, how you do it. I think they're just trying to open it up and saying, all right, let's let them work a little bit longer and let's let them work a little bit younger. And maybe we can fill the gaps here a bit.
What was your first job? Do you remember? Or was it
Yeah, paper boy.
Paper boy.
Third grade.
And you probably getting that first amount, that chunk of money. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Your first.
I've had a constant job since I was 8.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so I did that, and then I went to bagging groceries and all that kind of good stuff. And
yeah, paper boy though, a lot more control. You're your own man at that point.
yeah, it's kind of like your own little business.
Yeah, the grocery store. You're working for the man.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
he's
are.
watching your every move.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, of course, the concept, anything you do here in Florida is going to take some pot shots at it. And, of course, Kimmel had something to say about it.
Florida, I don't know if you've heard, they're considering a new law to fill a big hole they created. Because the state has been so gung-ho about deporting everyone, they now have a lot of low-paying jobs to fill. And their proposed solution to that problem is loosening child labor laws. State legislators yesterday advanced a bill that would allow kids as young as 14 to work overnight shifts on school days. Just when you think Florida is as Florida as it can get, they somehow find a way to out-Florida themselves.
Yeah, overnight. So, that's a hard-working kid, though.
Yeah, it is.
Working till 6 a.m. and then, all right, off to school. Huh? So tired, Mom. So tired.
I don't think that's smart.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work. I'm trying to imagine, okay, what is this schedule? What is this kid doing?
You legit have a valid excuse why your math scores suck.
Totally.
I was working.
Yeah.
How was at the plant overnight?
How can I study algebra when I'm at the plant?
Yeah. No, I remember when I was in college, I started working overnights at a radio station. And then my first class was 8 a.m. and I slept through it, and I basically flunked out that quarter. It did not go well.
Yeah, you didn't go back to that class.
No, I don't think I went back to the school. I just left.
A lot of people flunk out of that 8 a.m. class.
Yeah. So there are a lot of parents that are putting their kids to work, and one of those big fields is the mommy bloggers that are out there. In fact, in Utah now, they just put together a new kid-fluencer law because there are parents that are out there realizing that they're making tens of millions of dollars every single year off the backs of their kids. And they kind of broke down, and they've had a Hulu special that went behind the scenes a little bit, especially when that Ruby Frankie story came out.
Yeah.
That was the terrible mommy vlogger that was forcing her kids to partake in her videos, and then they weren't given, any kind of money, and I don't even think the dad really signed off on it, so he's going against his ex-wife now in court.
The oldest Ruby Frankie kid now is talking too.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy.
YouTube families, A, creep me out.
Mm-hmm.
B, I think are the parents are a little psychotic usually. And then, right, the kids, they don't have any say in this stuff. They really don't.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, it's the parents. It's all about the parents fueling this thing. It's not even about the kids.
Well, and that's just it. That's what they're saying is the kids are made to do it. The parents are making a ton of money. So this kid-fluencer law now in Utah said that parents who make over $150,000 a year will be required to put 15% of all earnings into a trust for their child.
Okay, so it's like how it is in California when you have a kid who's an actor.
Yep.
There's laws in place that the money goes into savings.
They base it exactly off that law in California.
Okay.
Family vlogs are annoying, creepy, and then they get even creepier when you add in a parody song. if they're all doing a song together,
know.
then it's the kids
Yeah.
don't want to do it.
Right. Yeah, you wonder. Yeah, that Ruby Frankie, she's the one, she made one of her kids stand in direct sunlight for several days. Kid got burns and blisters.
Oh my gosh.
And then when the child protested, she threatened him with suffocation and drowning. Then she zip tied him so he couldn't get away, but he finally did. Wound up at a neighbor's house, had bloody wrists and ankles from trying to get away. And then they had that Hulu documentary I was talking about. And then they were showing, you know, how sweet she was when the camera was going. And then they got her between takes. And she all of a sudden turns into a momster.
Oh, and she got them CEs, them crazy eyes.
Right.
They start to kind of wander around, and they're looking at you from the side.
One goes right, one goes left.
Just you could tell she's thinking 11,000 thoughts at one time, and none of them are good.
Yeah, exactly. Now, some of the comments coming in with people's takes on this. Weird they're allowing this, one says. It says they are making high school time start later because they say kids need more sleep. And then we're allowing them to work overnight shifts and then go to school. Now, one person said, I think it's going to be mainly for homeschool kids or alternative school children. Now, I will tell you that I know growing up, you know, around farm kids are working hard.
They're a
And
different breed.
different breed, and they go home from work and they do chores. They get up before the sun does, and they're doing chores before they run off to school. So they're putting in some hours on the family farm, but I don't think to this level. I don't know of any farm kids that were ever out at 2 a.m. or, you know, midnight doing work. Another comment said, a 14-year-old should be in bed asleep at 11 p.m. Don't for a minute think that unscrupulous parents will not put their kids and pull them out of school just to put them to work to make some money off of them.
11 for a curfew. For 14, does that sound about right? That's a good, I'd be happy with that time.
Well, they're just saying that they should be. They're not saying it is.
Got ya. I'm stupid.
They say what this bill means is that kids will drop out of school because working will be more important to their family income than an education.
That's the sad part. And there are families that really could use that extra income. And it'll be a choice that the family makes. And then this student will pick working overnight over finishing their education.
That happened even back in the day when I was in school, where I knew some kids that quit school to go work for
Right.
their family.
Yeah.
I think you can quit at, 16 or something?
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see if they'll change that. Yeah, when you would be able to make that change and say, yeah, sorry, the kid's 14. We need him more to be doing jobs and making money than we do need him going to get a formal education.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, and, you know, somebody commented, you know, it's going to happen a lot in minority communities. You don't
Yes.
educate them, they'll just stay in line, force them to start work young and enter the corporate machine. Let kids be kids, man. Don't support this. So that is one comment. And that is my question. Do you support this? Do you think this is a good idea? So I said, you cool with 14-year-olds working overnight shifts? 94% of people said no.
Good.
Wow, that's a high number. Even the trolls were like, nah, I can't vote for this.
You can't. You cannot vote for that because kids need to be focused on school. I mean,
Well, I know
It's
it's a crazy.
heartbreaking.
I know it's a crazy story when I read it verbatim and I thought I wrote it wrong. So I'm like, that can't be right.
it can't be right.
Yeah. So then,
Who would ever want this?
yeah, I stuttered over because I'm like, going, wait, there's no way that's. No, I'm not saying that right.
You just don't care about these children.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. You don't care that these children will not get education, will never be able to better themselves. You just want to be evil to these families.
I tell you right now, a lot of people, obviously, by the numbers we're getting, are not feeling it. So
The 6%, that's the Joker vote, right? That's the want to see the world burn.
don't know. It's a good question. Yeah, I'd like to hear them justify why they think 14-year-olds working overnight shifts is a good idea.
This is how we do. It's the KVJ Show.